welcome to this edition of Wild with Love. I am Christina, and I'm so glad you're listening today. Today's subject of what I want to talk about is hiring your own pet sitter or dog walker from the point of view from me as having been the pet sitter and dog walker, but also as a pet owner. There's nothing sometimes more precious than those animals who rely on us and who, though we need to go to work or we want to go on a vacation and we want the perfect people to be able to take care of them. And so it's a very important hire. Having been on both sides of it, do the interviewing of us way before you need us. Start way ahead of time. Now, it may seem like the most obvious of thoughts, but time, we all know it just flies. Before we know it, our vacation is a few weeks away. But starting 2, 3, 4 months ahead gives us plenty of time to interview and talk to and meet as many pet sitters and dog walkers as you need to until you find somebody who is right for you, who fits with your dog, not just who is available. And when you do start interviewing them ahead of time, be prepared to pay them for that hour of that time that you will be using to get to know them. It's a very wise investment. I know that when I've been having to hire a pet sitter, somebody who wasn't referred to me or a friend of the family, I'm glad I did start way ahead of time because not everybody is going to mesh with you, and being able to meet them and pay them for the hour of their time and seeing if Fido likes them is great. One of them that I hired was available for sitting in the evenings, but she wasn't available for day walks. And so I had her, and now I needed to find a dog walker for the day. And having more than one is a really good option. If they're busy, as I know at times I was busy, when I had a client call me, I'm like, yes, I can do that because their other pet sitter wasn't available. It was a good thing because you may want to go out of town on the drop of a hat and you want to be able to do that. And having more than one pet sitter and dog walker that you know, like, and trust to be able to let them come into your home, it's a good thing. And having been on the other side of that as the professional, I'm okay with you having any number of pet sitter and dog walkers. I want your pet, your dog or cat, to be well taken care of while you're gone. And that kind of leads me up to my next point is interview us. Yes, it may be an informal setting, but it is very serious. You love your Fluffy and Fido, they're a part of your family. And I like it when you ask questions. I like it when you have questions for me. Feel free to write them down and have the paper with you and read them off. Take notes if you like. So that, if you're interviewing a number of pet sitters or dog walkers, you know who said what. Questions like, how long will you be gone if you're staying at the overnight? Do you leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and come back at 5 o'clock? Can you come by for a middle of the day? If not, then that's why you would need the dog walker. Will you send me pictures each day? Will you, I used to like to send videos to some of my clients when they were gone because it was just fun. We would be out walking and they could see how they were really doing with the video. My clients liked that. And I think I brought up with a number of my clients, but I think a good question to ask your potential pet sitter, what if something happens to you? Who will take care of my pet if I am out of town? And that's a hard question to ask, but I always know that I had a backup. I always had somebody who knew what my schedule was, who my clients were. Heaven forbid something happened to me. The pets that were under my charge, while their people were away for a week or two, they could know that I had somebody who would know that Fido needed taking care of. And when asking questions, I get to know what's important to you. I get to know, is playing with them in the backyard more important than a walk or is a long walk much more important than playing with them? Do they need to get tired? Do they need to get that mental stimulation of play? Do you talk to your pets? Do you talk little baby talk? The questions that you ask me are just as important to get to know you. Another thing I liked that clients did with me, and that sometimes I did with people who I was interviewing, is have them take a walk with you. I used to sit two Rhodesian Ridgebacks, and they were enormous dogs. They were 100 pounds each. They were tough, they were strong, but they were gentle giants. And when I went over and I interviewed with their pet parents, first of all, it was like, go see if you can put the harness on Basso. And they were in the living room, and he was in back porch where I was able to put on his harness because some people didn't. That was the main reason for the interview with them. And then it was, okay, take him for a walk. Here's the route that he takes. Go ahead and take him for the walk. Because I like to interact with the dogs. I like to see who they are. Do they like me? Do I like them? How do they act around me? How do they act with their pet parents there? It's good to see what their personality is. Are they happy to see me? Do they know I am there? A lot of things that go through the meeting of them, of that interaction. And it's a good thing. And taking that walk with them gets to see how they handle them on a walk, and how I handle them on a walk, and how they want me to handle their pet on a walk. What is their route that they take if they decide to go out on a walk with me? There's so much that you can learn and that you can teach your pet sitter about taking care of your dog by maybe just taking a little walk with them when you're first meeting with them and when you're taking care of them. Or how do you play with them in the backyard? Also, when you're meeting with that pet sitter, that's the time maybe when you're walking that you can let them know what kind of issues you may find with them on the walk, or maybe something that Fido likes or doesn't like. Is Fido bad in cars? I the Rhodesians, I had to put him in the car and take him to the vet, and knowing that he was bad in cars was a really important thing. Or maybe you need your pet sitter to give your dog a shot, and maybe you have a friend that can come over and do it if they really can't do it, because some pet sitters just can't give an animal a shot. Now, I was able to give animals shots, and so that was okay, but showing them how to do it, and maybe being there at a time when you're doing that, and either if having your pet sitter do that, or knowing that they have done it in the past, it lets you see a little bit more about who your pet sitter is. Then the next thing I would like to talk about is have nanny cams. I know I always assumed that my clients had nanny cams, and I never minded it, and I was always hoped that they did, because it protects them and it protects me and lets them know if somebody else was in the house. It lets me have that little bit of extra comfort that they can see what's going on while they're gone. We all want Fido well taken care of. I can imagine some clients after meeting me and saying, well, she looks like she's been out walking dogs all day, because usually I was. I showed up in my sneakers and my hair pulled back, and sometimes I was a little windblown. But I want them to say, but Fluffy and Fido liked her. And I think most of the time that's why I got hired. And they felt comfortable that they could hire me, whether they had been referred to me by a previous client or a friend, or maybe they found my website. I wanted my clients comfortable in knowing that their Fido or Fluffy was going to be well taken care of, just as when I had hired a pet sitter or a dog walker. I went and I did what I needed to know far enough ahead of time, knowing that I could be comfortable while I was out of town and I could enjoy my vacation away. Being able to talk a little bit to and get to know your pet sitter will make you comfortable in knowing that you have the right one, and knowing when you come home from that vacation that Fido and Fluffy will be happy to see you, and that they've had a good time with their pet sitter while you're gone. I'm so happy you're listening today. Ava's coming up later this month. If you have any questions for her, please send them in via the website. And if we can, we'll answer those questions on the show. Thank you so much for listening today. This is For the Love of All Dogs. Ta-ta.